back to Nerdgasm. A very interesting matchup here. Pretty much two heads of Multiplex in different areas or whatever are battling it out. They like to yell behind the scenes, but now they get to yell in front of the camera, so I'm pretty excited about that. I got Tim Smith, the Emperor, the leader here. Tim, how are you feeling about this match going in, and how do you feel about Cain?
I only agreed to do this because I was. You promised me, Cody, that I would be fighting the Hurricane Shane Helms. This is not the Hurricane Shane Helms. What kind of shenanigans and bullshit are you in Brooklyn pulling? Do I have to pull your green cards out of Multiplex? What the fuck?
Brooklyn isn't responsible for all this. I am just a mere bystander. And next is Cain McMillan. Barely made it to the match. Apparently put his phone far away from him and couldn't find it. So, Cain, how do you feel about facing Tim? And do you feel like if you lose today that you're going to be kicked out of Multiplex? Or if you win, are you going to be kicked out?
No, because he needs me.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So win or lose, I think I'm safe.
You have job security.
Yeah, just one of them days. I doubt I'm going to do good in this. I really am, because I am tired. I am really tired. I came downstairs to go to sleep. I checked my messages, and apparently there was a match today. Oops, I forgot.
Oh, great. This is going to be the prepped match gym that we've all been looking forward to today. All right.
Please, this is going to be Jim versus Nico in fandom fights. This is going to be bad.
Well, we'll see who pulls out the win. I've got two judges here with me today. Malcolm, you, by the time this video drops, you have just defeated Dominic Rizzi. So, you're riding that high, but how do you feel about these two competitors, and who do you got winning?
This is going to be a really interesting match. I mean, they're both battling a debate very tired, so it's going to be really interesting to see if we get coherent debates out of these two. But I think Tim could pull it off.
And I had a judge. Thank you so much, Henry, for jumping in last minute to save this, because I would have just been judging it by myself, because Brooklyn's ear is hanging off his head and he can't be here tonight, like a Canadian, to back out of things that he's responsible for. Henry, how you feeling tonight, and who do you got in this?
Feel pretty good. This is going to be interesting. The last debate I just did was the Malcolm, so clearly we can have some underdogs in there. And Cain rated Big Lebowski 3 stars the day before Christmas, so I kind of hate him. So go Tim.
Oh, okay. So I kind of agree with Cain on the Big Lebowski, but that's just my
Fuck you all.
Okay, so
Tim.
Mute. Okay. So, we're going to get to first question. This is a good one. I don't remember in the chat who picked the topic, but Star Wars was chosen. And the question was, who is the best character from the Star Wars sequel trilogy? So, I think I'm just going to I think Cain has a win, so I'm going to let Cain start it off. So, Cain, tell us who you picked, and why did you choose him?
And I get 1 minute, right?
1 minute.
All right, so I picked the guy from Yavin. His name's Poe Dameron. Out of all the new characters, I would say he's probably the best, because he's also one of the most charismatic, and he's a guy who was originally not even supposed to be in the new sequel era, but he was so good. They're like, give us more, So I figured Poe was a solid choice. I mean, you could pick Rey, but I don't think Rey's the greatest. Everyone's just more confused, who's her parents and all that. And then Finn, he would have been the best if Rose would have let him die, but Rose screwed everything up. And who would pick Rose or DJ? They're just terrible. So I picked the best out of the sequel characters, Poe Dameron.
All right, ending early. Tim, 1 minute whenever you're ready.
For the question, out of the sequel era Star Wars, who is your best character? You don't normally have to go with any of the sequel characters, because as we've seen in 2 movies, they all mean shit. They are all wrote poorly and horrible characters. I stuck with someone who at least carried with a story arc. Granted, it's cut one movie short, but that's the director's fault, and that is Luke Skywalker. From boy to hero to now a disgruntled man, tired with the life, tired with all of it, wanting to escape, and redeems himself very well with what was given in the 2 movies so far. So that's who I picked, and that's why.
All right. So Poe Dameron, a guy that can't follow instructions, and Luke Skywalker that milked some sort of cow on this planet. So this will be an interesting one. 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
All right. So the first thing I want to say, Luke is not even in The Force Awakens. He doesn't have a single line. He's giving a lightsaber only to go like this and throw it off the thing. I don't think how that's good. He ruins everything the original Luke Skywalker had. Like, if you can honestly tell me The Last Jedi, Luke Skywalker, is better than the first 3 appearances we see of Luke Skywalker, then you're wrong.
Luke Skywalker in The Force Awakens was still better than any of these new characters. I'm sorry, Rey is underdeveloped. Finn had potential and turned into a walking punchline. Poe Dameron is Han Solo light, if you were looking at the beers, and then in the second movie gets degraded and emasculated by a purple-haired liberal arts English teacher who basically says, "You're wrong, you're an idiot, you are a man and have a penis."
And at the end of the day, he was right. At the end of the day, he was right. He took down a dreadnought. He led the
while
army,
killing most of his people.
Well, you know what?
With poor bombing runs, and then to top it off, he had a your mama joke in a shitty movie that no one wanted.
Okay,
this movie.
See, here's the thing: Poe is still labeled as
horrible.
Poe is still labeled as one of the greatest pilots in the galaxy. Is Luke?
No, that was Han Solo. You're wrong.
No, they say that he's one of the greatest pilots, and then in The Force Awakens, even Finn's like, man, he's a great pilot because he is a great pilot. He's one of the best. He took down a dreadnought, and yeah, maybe
no,
people,
the
but you know what?
English teacher took down the dreadnought
because
she went through hyperspace.
Okay, but I'm talking about the beginning of the movie when they took down a dreadnought. Okay,
yes,
what did Luke do? What did Luke do? Luke drank some fucking green and milk.
Luke is disgruntled, pissed off with everything that has happened up to this point.
Here's the thing.
That at least makes sense with the movie. Go ahead.
Tell me right now, is The Last Jedi Luke better than any other incarnation of Luke Skywalker?
It's a continuation of his
That's not the question. That's not the question. Is he better? Okay, I rest my case. Your character.
You don't have to answer a question from another competitor. You're allowed to.
Exactly.
Keep going.
But here's the thing, Cain. At least my character is continuing his story arc. Yours is just Han Solo in a lighter version for a newer audience that
How is he Han
understand.
Solo? He's already a part of the rebellion. Han Solo is a guy who never wanted to be a part of the rebellion.
He tends to have.
So you're telling me in a world of just giant galaxies that you cannot be a pilot? Well, I guess Luke Skywalker is Han Solo light then.
No, you can be a pilot. Poe has.
Well, you just said if you're a pilot.
You
just said if you're a pilot,
he has the attitude. He has the piloting skills. He's supposed to be the Han Solo hero for a new arc of characters, is what I'm saying, and that's what he is. He's just a rip-off version of it.
Okay, but in The Last Jedi, his story arc was actually smart because he was trying to tell Lauren Hodo that she was wrong because he was actually right in the scenario. And it's not our fault that Leo happened to get blown up by fucking Kylo Ren, a terrible character, But hey, I have a question. Another question. Who did Leia send to go retrieve the missing map to Luke Skywalker? She sent the best pilot in the galaxy, Poe Dameron, because your character ran off like a little coward after he couldn't watch his little nephew because his nephew has temper tantrums. And my character never ran off.
Okay, but also at the end of it, he also confronted it all, faced him, and the firing of 20 advanced AT-AT walkers. And
did he really face him because he was on a different planet? He wasn't even there. If he was
in Star Wars, it's called force projection. Jedi's have it. They can use it however they want.
Jedi? Since when? The Last Jedi?
Yeah, pretty much. If they're making up bullshit logic for their movie, I'm going to use it for this argument. And Luke was able to force project. And
but
now
here's the thing: Luke Skywalker
he can die a hero and rejoin the Force ghost of his father, Yoda, Obi-Wan, and if they ever put in Qui-Gon Jinn.
Okay, so here's the thing. Luke is terrible. He drank green milk, and he is absolutely just... They ruined the character.
So many people killed because he is a bad commander in the first run of destroying that ship.
Okay,
all
so
the
here's the
bombers
thing.
were destroyed. Maybe 5 fighters. 5 fucking fighters survived that, Cain.
Cody, how much time is left?
He's a horrible strategist.
4 seconds.
Okay,
Yeah,
then I'll just
but
save
I'll
it for
do
my...
it to...
I have one final thing I'm going to say, but I'll just wait.
Gotcha. Okay, so, wow. For 2 people being tired, that was actually a really fun and interesting debate. Star Wars pisses Tim off, and you could definitely see it. But we got 45 seconds closed. Tim, you open, so you're close. So Cain, you'll start off. So.
Okay, so I'm starting.
Did you start last time? You did start. So, Tim, you'll start. Cain will close.
Are you sure?
100%.
You're just happy we didn't yell like Caleb Coho did, but
it got pretty close, and I was pretty excited.
But anyways, we'll wrap it up with this. Poe Dameron is a horrible rehash of a telling of a character. He's a bad commander. The only good quality, he's a decent pilot. He sucks as a leader, as we've seen from the battle with both ships. And Luke, at least, is a stable character that continues his arc and redeems himself at the end of the movies. So far, for what we have, he redeemed himself. He's back to being a strong-willed character like he's always been. And Poe Dameron is just a rehash of one of your greatest characters. But I'm done.
All right, and a little early. Cain, 45 seconds. Whenever you start speaking.
Okay. You say Poe Dameron is a rehashed an old character because they used Han Solo as a character who everyone loved, and they made Poe roughly around the same. Is he as loved as Han? No, but people still love him. But you say Poe killed a lot of people in the fight against the Dreadnought, but Luke killed more people by not properly training Kylo Ren and turning him into the Sith Lord that he is, causing for many people to die due to Kylo Ren. Because of Kylo Ren, they blew up multiple planets. That's on Luke. That is why Luke Skywalker is one of the worst. He gave up on training when he never should have done that, because if that was the original Luke, he would have not have done that.
Time. Okay.
I do want to say, before you make your final judgments, Cain, I really wish we had more time, because I would have loved to challenge that into 5 minutes. Damn it.
Yeah, he waited to that point. So that's actually
because I could have shut him down in a heartbeat with that fucking thing. But go ahead.
That's one interesting strategy. I'm just going to make my ruling first. I'm actually giving it to Tim on this one. I think the rebuttal was super strong, but I feel like you had to play defense work basically the whole time because Tim wouldn't shut up, basically. But Tim just kept hammering points home. And I agree that you did the Luke Skywalker because you kind of knew how he was going to react. He was never going to admit that he was better in that one than the original. But at that end of the day, I would give it to Tim, but that's why we have 3 judges here. I'm not the only one. I'm going to go to Malcolm next. Malcolm, who do you give the point to and why?
Yeah, this was definitely an interesting debate because answer-wise, I agree with Tim, but Cain actually turned mine around. That his shots that he hit against Luke about him not really doing much in the sequel, and like his big moment was at the end of the Last Jedi and stuff. Like, kind of convinced me to give the point to Cain.
All right, Cain. Cain gets 1 point. Tim has 1 point. Hopefully Big Lebowski doesn't screw you here. Henry, who do you give the point to?
Well, this was infuriating to listen to because no one picked Kylo Ren and didn't even talk about him until the end, or BB-8, or fun stuff. But with what we got, I will say I was definitely interested. I don't know what the echo is.
Malcolm, not you.
If anybody's watching live, that might be it too. Are we good? All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Oh, I still have an echo. Is that me? I don't know what it is. I guess we're just gonna wing it. So anyway, so with that being said, with everything heard, I heard more knocks on Poe because the only things I heard knock towards Luke was he's the same character that we got from, or he's not as good as we got in the original trilogy, and then I don't necessarily like that end moment that Cain did in his rebuttal, talking about all the Kylo Ren stuff, because obviously it's speculation, but I personally think Tim could have knocked that down, so I think that was just a poor taste strategy. So it was close, but because I heard more knocks on Poe, I'm gonna go with Tim.
It's basically because you don't like Big Lebowski. Okay, so Tim wins that point. He gave it to him because he thinks that it was kind of a low on the Kylo Ren. I kind of respect the strategy because I would have done the exact same thing, but it's not a big deal. I wouldn't expect Tim to win a Star Wars match, but that's kind of his bread and butter. So it's Tim 1, Cain nothing. But question number 2 is here, and our favorite person in the history of the world that works for Multiplex, his name is Caleb Coho. And the best movie franchise of all time, in his eyes, is Pirates of the Caribbean. So Pirates of the Caribbean is the question, is in the category. So the question, recast Barbossa from the Pirates of the Caribbean. So pretty much I kind of had to do this in the last match with Malcolm and Don. Please explain to me why your actor is the correct choice and what he would do or she to improve. Malcolm, got the echo. Oh, it threw me off. When you have to figure out, tell me why they'd be better than the current Barbossa. Kind of what I wanted to hear. So why that actor is the correct choice and what they would add and be better. Okay. So, Tim, you start.
Okay, so with Captain Barbossa, and it's the only time I'm going to say Jeffrey Rush, but Jeffrey Rush brought his own flair and great performance to it and made the character what it is. I looked for somebody that, from his range of work, that could probably bring more to the role, if not better than what we've seen so far, and I picked Tim Roth. Tim Roth, from his history of films, some of his greatest, you look at Reservoir Dogs, at Pulp Fiction, at Rob Roy, Legend of 1900, a lot of great performances he's done and shown in his range and performances that he could take a character like this and match Johnny Depp on screen and going for that crazy pirate combo that, who knows, with this performance, maybe Johnny Depp, he was nominated for an Oscar. Yeah.
Perfect. Cain, 1 minute whenever you're ready.
All right, so the guy I chose is a guy who's worked with the Disney umbrella multiple times. He's actually worked for them 8 times with movies like Finding Dory, The Jungle Book, Zootopia, Infinity War, Thor, The Dark World, Thor Ragnarok, and Avengers Age of Ultron. This is Idris Elba. I think Idris Elba could play the charming, the charismatic Captain Barbossa because I feel like you got to completely change it up. I feel like Tim Roth is a little bit too similar to Jeffrey Rush, in my opinion, and I feel like Captain Barbossa, played by Idris Elba, can give a new look onto the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise that I heard is not going to have Johnny Depp.
Okay. Time. 5 minutes. Get at it.
All right, so Tim Roth, he was also in the MCU. He played the Abomination, and he was an abomination in the MCU. That's why he's never came back, which is why I don't want him to be a part of the Abomination of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise.
Just because he was in one movie doesn't mean he'd be an abomination to a franchise. And you can't really pick Idris Elba, someone who is Disney safe, to really go with a movie. Who knows if he would actually fit in with this environment? We've seen him play
We've seen Idris Elba play everything. Why couldn't he? Played a stupid giant mayor ox in Zootopia, and I believed him. He played a menacing tiger.
But do you really think he could play a pirate with the charisma to match Johnny Depp. Tim Roth
Have you
can do
ever
that with his
heard
past
Idris
performances.
Elba talk? He just breathes charisma. He is the definition of charisma. There's a reason why people want him to play James Bond, because that is what this man is. He is the definition of charisma. Tim Roth,
Yes, they want him
he
to play
has
James
no
Bond, but he's too
charisma.
old. Go ahead.
How is he too old?
For a character of James Bond, but that's another thing onto its own.
Yeah, we're not talking James Bond.
Yes,
we're talking about Captain Barbossa. Where if
We
he
do this
has to
one
be
time.
older, then why not? Why can't Captain Barbossa be older? Why can't the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise have a little bit of diversity? You had Zoe Saldana in it, and then that's about it. So why can't Idris Elba show up, play Captain
We've
Barbossa?
always had diversity with this, especially with the later movies. You have leading women roles. In the last one, you had Captain Barbossa's daughter. I can't remember her name on Stranger Tides, or not Stranger Tides, but
Yes, you can keep.
but you've had diversity. Tim Roth would bring a depth of performance.
Tim Roth would
and
bring
character
another
to
white male
elevate.
into the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise.
So basically, you want to play the race card to get Idris Elba in, from what I'm hearing, Kane.
I'm
No,
also
that's
playing the
exactly
front.
what I'm hearing. You want to play the
Hey.
race card for Idris Elba. That is a
It's
poor taste.
2019. It's 2019, Tim. It's not
So
diversity.
what?
It's called equality. And all I'm saying is Tim Roth.
The diversity, Sidney Poitier, that was diversity back in the old days, Cade. Just because it's 2019.
Okay,
And you
here's
wanna
the thing.
throw out
I'm going to shut up. I'm
diversity.
going to shut up. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to let you give. I'm just going to let you say one bad thing about Idris Elba. One bad thing, because you can't.
Okay, the one bad thing you want to say about Tim Roth is Abomination from Incredible Hulk. So what?
I also said he's not
That was
charismatic.
still a good
I
movie.
don't see him working with Johnny Depp. I think Idris Elba would work perfectly. And when I told you to say one bad thing about Idris Elba, you said, "Oh, well, I can't say anything bad about Tim Roth." So you have nothing bad to say about Idris Elba because he's the perfect choice. He is so good that this man could play Donald Trump and people would like him.
I don't see Idris Elba working that well with Johnny Depp in performance-wise. We've seen what Johnny Depp already brought to that role, but Barbossa is supposed to be an equal but 180 version of Jack Sparrow. Tim Roth, with his past performances in movies that he's shown he has that range and talent to really play it off someone like Johnny Depp very well.
Okay. Here's the thing. They've already said Johnny Depp is not coming back to be a part of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. So you can say he wants all of this charismatic with Johnny Depp and Captain Jack Sparrow, but Johnny Depp's no longer there. So he can have all the charisma in the world with Johnny Depp, but Johnny Depp's not there. Idris Elba can lead a franchise.
Didn't Barbossa die in the last one, so he really isn't going to be
Who
there.
cares? That's not why we were chosen.
Then you have to look at it. If you're recasting him from the beginning, and look at it that way, because neither one of them is going to be in the future of this shit.
Okay, but here's the thing. You've already said, they've already confirmed, Johnny Depp is not going to be a part of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. That does not mean Jack Sparrow won't be. You can have Captain Barbossa lead a franchise led by Idris Elba, because Idris Elba is a leading actor. I can't even tell you the last movie Tim Roth was in, let alone led.
Okay, I brought up the list. The Padre, the Con is on in 2018. 1 Mile to You, The Hateful Eight he was in 2015.
He wasn't the lead. And
That doesn't mean his performance can't shine because he's not the lead. There have been a lot of great actors who have not had the lead and shined in great performances.
Yeah, it's a really good supporting actor. It's called Idris Elba. He shows up and he's just fantastic. This man played a walrus in Finding Dory and was fantastic.
Time. Cain McMillan just checked out of the Caleb Coho school of being a dick.
I know.
All right, 45 seconds. Cain, you're gonna open, and then Tim will close. So whenever you're ready,
I prefer to have 47 seconds, but it is what it is.
That's a bullshit fucking reference.
That he still couldn't get right anyways.
It's okay, because all I'm going to say...
Ready?
Tell me when to... Yeah.
Go.
All right, Tim Roth, again, I mean, like you pulled up his list. The movies he made in 2018, I've never even heard of. The Con is on. What is that? Is that a straight to DVD movie? Is that a Hallmark movie? I don't know. Idris Elba, though. He was in Infinity War, one of the biggest movies ever made. Yeah, he's only in the beginning because he was also part of 4 other MCU movies, and we got to see the death of a character in that movie, and that was very attaching. Idris Elba could make Pirates of the Caribbean cool again. Tim Roth, it's the same old shit.
32 seconds used. Okay. Tim, 45 seconds whenever you start speaking.
All right, you keep to go on this Idris Elba love because he was in Disney. So what? You want a movie for Tim Roth? Selma in 2014, George Wallace. Great performance. And apparently, because he's a side character, he can't have a great performance according to your logic. Tim Roth, in all of his movies, has great performance, side or main character, and knocked it out of the park. He could bring depth, charisma, and just charm to this version of Barbossa, should we ever see it, and get more out of it than what we did in previous versions compared to Disney-loving Idris Elba.
All right. Okay. Very interesting. Caleb would be proud, Cain. So we're going to go to Malcolm. Malcolm, who you give your point to and why?
Yeah, this was definitely an interesting debate. But I'm probably going to go with give my point to Tim on this. I feel like I got a lot more from Tim about why Tim Roth will be good as Barbossa than I did from Cain. So my point goes to Tim.
Okay, interesting. Henry, who would you give the next point to?
That's a fucking bullshit question.
Cain.
Okay, so Cain gets a point.
Because he didn't pick somebody with the same first fucking name. Who does that? Ooh, I like Tim Roth because his name is Tim.
No.
Hey, maybe my name is Idris. So
I would give it to Cain as well. Not because I don't think Tim did a good job. He just kind of Cain dug a giant hole and then said, "Hey, come here," and then he dropped down it because it was such a dick thing. When he did the equality thing, which sometimes I feel like is a low blow, he literally nailed it, and Tim was just like, I can't say anything because this is not the time frame to say anything. So you win. Okay, so the next question. It's 1-1, so we're going to a speed round regardless, but we'll see how far we go into it. The final question was, freaking of course, everybody loves this flipping non-Marvel TV or whatever.
Shut
I
your
don't
fucking
know.
whore mouth.
Something about it, but we're doing it. So here's your question. What Avenger would fit best in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Apparently this show is good. I do not know.
You shut your whore mouth.
Does this
Here
episode
goes.
come like right after the last one? Back to
Yes.
back Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes. So, well, that's what the thing is. You get to pick what subgenre, and we have the right questions based on it. So, Cain, you'll start it. So, tell us what you picked and why.
all right, so the guy I picked, he's an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. He is a guy everyone wants to see. And if you tell me otherwise, look at After Infinity War. Everyone asking, where is this man? Where is he? And this is why in the Endgame trailer, everyone is so excited to see him. He's the guy who makes the most sense of being on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because he is an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. He is Hawkeye. He is arguably one of the most greatest Avengers to ever step foot on the avenging team of the Avengers because I just lost it. Okay, but yeah, he's really good. He's a great Avenger. He has no superpowers, but yet he can hang with the Hulk. I mean, there's an old man Hawkeye run because Hawkeye is so good. Clinton Barton is one of the best Avengers around, and like he would make Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. watchable. Jeremy Renner is so good that you can't tell me that Jeremy Renner on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would bring in some views.
Okay. I just like the combine of Avengers of Avenger. That was nice. Okay, so Tim, tell us why your choice would fit better.
Okay, a perfect choice for this. Someone who literally will fight for what he believes in, like what we see now in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that would be Captain America himself, Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers, in his second movie, fought for what he believed in to stop Hydra from rising up and just engulf the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Steve Rogers would be a perfect pick to play off of Phil Coulson, to play off of these characters already established in it. You already have enough non-superheroes. Why not see an actual superhero and Avenger in this universe properly done that will fit in there?
All right. All right, 5 minutes.
Did
No.
you
Okay, go ahead.
Did you just say that there's not enough like superheroes and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Literally, the last few seasons have all been about Inhumans who have super abilities, and they've all been
And we've
terrible.
seen, what, 4 of them on screen?
We've seen like
Daisy.
10 or 20. But I stopped paying attention.
In the cryogenic boxes they got put in? Because
Did you or did you not see them? Did you or did you not see them? So that means they were there. So I rest my case.
Yeah, because yes, that's your fucking logic. Just because they were still in the boxes tubes that they were there.
Okay, but here's your biggest problem about Captain America. When he went under in the Arctic area, S.H.I.E.L.D. was not make. When he came out, S.H.I.E.L.D. was Hydra. So without that being said, Captain America would never join S.H.I.E.L.D. because he doesn't trust S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D. is the exact thing that he fights against.
But here's the thing. For the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, Phil Coulson, the heart and soul of S.H.I.E.L.D., tasked by Fury himself to restart S.H.I.E.L.D. the proper and right way. Captain America would fit perfectly in there, fighting alongside Phil Coulson for S.H.I.E.L.D's number one purpose, protection of people. Not the bullshit he stopped to stop Hydra.
Here's the thing. You're just wasting time.
Go ahead. Is it because he's in Disney? Is that your pick?
They're both in Disney. That's stupid. But here's the thing.
Idris Elba when you had that defense, but go the fuck ahead.
He's not going to fight alongside Phil Coulson. You want to know why? Because if you watch the end of last season, Phil Coulson left the show. He's not a part of Age of S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore. He's not going to be a part of it. So why would he be there? Captain America is going to die in Endgame. The only good thing you can get from Captain America on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. if they did the whole Hail Hydra arc in the comics, but they're not going to do that because that arc is stupid. So guess what? Why would they have Captain America?
Why the hell would you have Hawkeye when Hawkeye has gone rogue, so to speak, in the new trailers we've seen, and he lost his family and he looks like an emo idiot?
Oh, you mean he goes rogue, becomes the character of Ronin in one of the better story arcs of Hawkeye? This man killed people with spoons. Spoons, man. He killed people with spoons.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Steve Rogers would take the spoon, shove it down his throat, roll him into a ball, and throw him away.
Okay, see,
Steve Rogers, and here's the thing: if you want to add more Inhumans into it, Steve Rogers can easily counter that because if Daisy goes crazy and rogue,
Inhumans were terrible. Why would we add them? Why are you wanting to add more crappy things to a crappy show? If you add more crap into the crappy,
it's going to happen.
Everyone wants to see. Everyone wants to see Hawkeye. That's why they were asking, where is Hawkeye? Where's Hawkeye? Where's Hawkeye? Because he wasn't there. If we had a whole Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season of Hawkeye trying to
out of the whole stretch of these movies, Hawkeye has had one significant moment in his little barn house with his family, tried to boost him up after Tony fucked up and created supposedly an ultimate supervillain.
Okay, but here's the thing. You say he's had one significant moment. What about the time where he recruited Scarlet Witch to the Avengers? Or the time that he recruited Ant-Man to the Avengers? Or the time that he was brainwashed and had to fight against the Avengers and still gave them a hard time? Hawkeye took on the Avengers and still gave them their money's worth. I mean, how can you say that? Hawkeye was the most trusted person. He was there fighting against Thor and Thor. I mean, did he win? No, because Thor was a god. But then he shows up in the Avengers.
He didn't even try to. He basically stood there, watched it go down, and say, "Hey, I'm kind of a fan on the sideline. I'm kind of cheering for this guy. What do you want to do?" And Phil Coulson said, "No, hold the shot. I want to see how this plays out."
And they did a Hawkeye show in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and it was a spin-off, had no connection to Colossus, and it was about Budapest, that would be one of the most watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. seasons ever, because it'd be about Budapest, something that we were teased for a long time and we haven't received. And then on top of it, you want to know proof that a Hawkeye show would work? It's called Arrow. Arrow is one of the most watched DC shows, period. And you can do the counterpart.
So basically, if you have a bow and arrow, you can have your own TV show and it'll work because Stephen Amell over at the CW.
Yeah, and you replace
okay,
Stephen.
you want to say Jeremy Renner could work, but I'm pretty sure his legacy of Jason Bourne was horrible. So outside of the MCU, I don't think he could really carry his own.
He's really good in Mission Impossible.
There's a lot of people good in Mission Impossible.
Okay, if you want to talk about characters who can hold their own, where was Chris Evans pre the MCU? Where's Chris
freezing Evans? In an ice tube, saving New York from World War II. That's where Chris Evans was. And
pre-MCU, and you still give me an MCU.
You want pre-MCU? Okay. He did Johnny Storm. He was a great character. Sorry.
Calm down.
Sorry.
The fire has risen.
Okay. So 45 seconds close. This is super close in my eyes. I don't know how it is the rest of the judges. So, Tim, you will open.
I go first, don't I? No, wait, no, I started. Yeah.
Yep. So, Tim, you will open. Cain will close. So, whenever you're ready, Tim.
From what S.H.I.E.L.D. has been left with, its principles, its guiding light of it, Steve Rogers would be a perfect fit. Steve Rogers has always fought for good and on the side of protecting the people, which is what S.H.I.E.L.D. is, with or without Phil Coulson. Even if it's just Daisy Mack and Gemma, Steve Rogers would be a good fit in there and really bolster a lot of performances in what we have for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Hawkeye would just get lost in the back paces like Lance or Bobby. He would just get lost in the back paces. We've already seen that in S.H.I.E.L.D. before with characters. Steve Rogers is something fresh and strong and would carry the ideals till his dying day.
Cain, whenever you're ready.
To say that Hawkeye would get lost in among characters is stupid. I mean, he would lead the show. He'd boost ratings. He'd do all this stuff. And here's the thing. My idea of an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show with Hawkeye in it would not have anything to do with the previous characters because those characters suck. Give me Budapest. Give me a whole 13-episode season of Budapest and how Hawkeye and Black Widow had to deal with all that, how they meet, and Hawkeye's a good guy, she's the bad guy. That would be the show I want to see. Captain America, we've seen him before. When he died, S.H.I.E.L.D. wasn't there. And then when he dies in Endgame, S.H.I.E.L.D. still won't be here because S.H.I.E.L.D. is dead. It's Hydra. S.H.I.E.L.D. does not exist in the realm of Captain America. S.H.I.E.L.D. has never existed because when he went under, it wasn't there. When he came out, it was Hydra.
Would you say it's the Knights of Hydra? Oh, okay. Just kidding. All right. So, Henry, who would you give the point to and why?
So, Cain ultimately pitched a Hawkeye spin-off series more than an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series, and he kept referring to him as Hawkeye, whereas Tim kept saying Steve Rogers, which is really big for me for what he was pitching, that I feel like Steve Rogers, not Captain America, would work well within S.H.I.E.L.D. and ultimately make a good S.H.I.E.L.D. show, and I really kind of dug that, so I'm going with Tim, kind of, not by a lot, but 70-30.
Okay, fair enough. I would also side with Cain on this one. I think Tim did a really good job of putting out points. I just have to. I wouldn't say it's a cheap blow. It's kind of what I wanted to hear the entire time. I wanted pitch what your heroes would do, and I think I kind of bought in what Cain was saying. So Cain would get that point, and you gave the point to him as well, right, Henry?
No, Tim.
You gave it to Tim. Okay, yeah. So it's even right now. Okay, cool. Malcolm, decide who wins this.
Yes. So my point is going to go to Tim because I feel like Cain's kind of got near the end of the argument. The debate sort of turned into talking about the actors themselves as opposed to the actual characters. I think I think Cain sort of was focusing on a Hawkeye spin-off as opposed to integrating Hawkeye into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think Tim did a better job of proposing Steve Rogers to be added into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. itself. So that's why my point goes to Tim.
Okay, I may be having to look for a new spot in Multiplex or out of Multiplex because I did not vote for it. Okay, so this is a little untraditional, but I'm allowing this for this fight just because it is speed round. It's going to be 40 seconds, then 30 seconds. But the question on the table, you guys picked Disney live action, or you picked years, I believe. But we went Disney live action. So best live action Disney movie
Beauty and the Beast.
From 2006. So if you have to look it, I'm fine with it. I'm just giving you that a heads up right now. We in Brooklyn already talked about that, so we're allowing that.
Below.
Okay. Below verse.
For those watching at home, I was going to say Wendy Wu, Homecoming Warrior.
I just saw that too on my list. I was actually going to counter that with Santa Claus 3 Escape Clause, but
oh shit.
We'll go.
Wendy Wu.
Not as strong.
There you go, Cain, right there, in case you need this poster.
I was going to say it, but you know.
He was just like, no, don't give me High School Musical.
I'll
Give me Wendy Wu.
Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest.
Okay.
Good thing Caleb's not judging.
Okay. So, I heard Cain first, so 40 seconds. Whenever you start speaking, tell us why Eight Below is better for the year of 2006.
For the year of 2006.
Yeah, debate the year. Please tell me. You can knock down his as much as you want to, but just tell me why it was the best of that year.
Okay. Yeah. I just fucked up. Holy shit! I just fucked up. Well, this is gonna be fun. So
You
yeah.
thought it was a different movie?
Yep.
There we go.
All right. So Eight Below. You see. Here's the thing about Eight Below. It's such a great movie. It has Paul Walker, Bruce Greenwood. I mean, what does the other movies? Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, one of the worst Pirates of the Caribbean movies, period. What, Shaggy Dogs? Another crappy movie? I mean, come on. Eight Below, it has 8 more dogs than the Shaggy Dog. Like, where's the problem with that? Where's the dogs in Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest? There is none. Because Eight Below is by far the most superior movie because dogs sell movies. I mean, I'm telling you, if you had Crypto the Super Dog to have Man of Steel movie, it's going to be the best Superman movie, period. And imagine if you had 8 of them. That's Eight Below.
So, Tim, whenever you start speaking, 40 seconds.
Great dog movies sell dog movies. You picked one of Paul Walker's worst performances in his existence. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest is a great coming off of the Black Pearl with wonderful performances from Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow in a year of movies that no one has cared about. Happy Feet, Superman Returns, because that was a great hit. I mean, this is a great continuation of a wonderful story with the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, with Jeffrey Rush, with Johnny Depp. I don't do well on countdowns, Cody. But out of all the movies, The Lives of the Others, big movie. This was one of the biggest.
No, sorry. Cain has still got me about 9 over here. Okay, so 30 seconds, Cain. Whenever you start speaking, remember this is game point. If Tim gets this, he does win.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
All right, see, here's the thing. You said Eight Below is one of his worst movies. It has a 72% on Rotten Tomato for like critics, and then a 78 for audience. So it shows that actually people do love Eight Below, and it is because of dogs. It's because of Paul Walker. It's because of Bruce Greenwood. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest is arguably one. I watched them once because that's all I could watch. It's so bad. It's terrible. I can't deal with Pirates of the Caribbean anymore. Eight Below is really fun. It's great. It has dogs. Where's the dogs in Pirates of the Caribbean? Because there ain't none. Paul Walker, rest in peace. We love you.
Was that little break? Was that a moment of silence, real quick? You're like, Paul Walker. We
Okay, Tim.
moment of silence.
30 seconds. Whenever you start speaking.
You want to bring out Rotten Tomato scores? Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, 72% audience scores. Audiences loved that one too, and it didn't have dogs that no one fucking cared about, and Paul Walker, who had to whore himself out to such a shitty performance. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest carried on a great story, great characters, and continued on to give us World's End. So this was just a great continuation of a wonderful live-action franchise from Disney. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Okay.
I can't say anything, but I wish I could.
Malcolm,
It's on the record. Tim said,
start it off.
Wonderful.
You muted.
He's speechless.
I know. I know. I was unmuting myself. But for me, this is pretty easy, and I'm giving my point to Tim. I didn't really hear much from Cain about why his movie is better, apart from the fact it's got dogs in it. So, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to ask Cain a question at the end of this to see.
Yes, I was thinking snow dogs, okay?
Thank you. That's what I knew he was thinking of Cuba Gooding Jr. Okay, Henry, who do you give the point to and why?
All right, so Kane's entire argument was, "Oh, dogs are so great," but he didn't even pick the right dog movie, Air Buddies 2. But with that being said, I do feel like that he got me with the comedy on this one, and I don't know. I don't think Tim's closer was actually made it a lot closer, but the comedy aspect of it, sometimes you just have to go for it on the speed route, and the comedy got me, so I'm going with Cain.
Hey.
Plus, I like watching Cody sweat.
No, because the funny thing is, I thought there was going to be two for Tim, and then I was just giving it to Cain because I actually enjoyed the comedy a lot more than most. I normally hated in debate, but he actually sold it, especially as he started. But I think he actually posed a pretty good question.
Where are the dogs?
And I think he pissed Tim off enough to bring up dogs in the thing, which is a good strategy because he didn't need to. He could just focus. So actually, I'm going to give it to Cain as well. So Cain, so we're going to the final question.
I won on 8 Below, and I've never seen 8 Below. Yay.
Apparently, you never even heard of it because you thought it was snow dogs.
Okay, I saw snow and dogs, so in my mind, I'm like, snow dogs. Yeah.
That's why you don't look at posters.
All right, so this will be final question. If I get kicked out of Multiplex after this, I totally understand. But the question was in Game of Thrones. And the question is, what is the best house in Game of Thrones?
House Stark.
House Targaryen.
Targaryen versus Stark? Is that correct?
Get the fucking house name right.
Sure.
Did you say Tangerine? What the hell did you just say?
He said Targaryen.
Targaryen. Okay. So
he's got to argue Targaryen only.
Tim, I heard Stark first, so whenever you start speaking, 40 seconds.
House Stark has been the premier house of Game of Thrones. This is the house that gave you the Builders of the Wall, great heroes like Bran, Eddard Stark, who with Robert Baratheon led the War of the Usurper and brought new change to the Seven Kingdoms. House Stark, and I keep saying it because I can at least get the fucking name right of my house. But you have great characters: Jon Snow, Eddard Stark, Robb Stark, Bran, Rickon, Sansa, Arya. Great characters within one house.
Okay. You actually finished before I actually got it. So cool. Cain, tell us why House Tar is better. Go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to stick with the House Targaryen because they are great people. They make ties for people. You know, they have their own little shop. They make some ties. The Stark people? Like, what is it? Is this like Tony Stark's great ancestors? I mean, if they are, they're not as cool as Tony. So, I mean, at least my guys made ties. They did good for people. Your people probably just slaughtered a bunch of people. I made people look fancy. My people walked out of their places and they had ties. What'd you give them? Beheaded horses? I don't know. I've never seen Game of Thrones. So guess what? House Targaryen, for the win, we make ties. You kill people.
Hey, I was trying to help him. He decided to keep going to finish him off.
Take
Okay,
a dump
here's
on
the
screen.
thing.
You got this.
Here's the thing. At least you want to go down a comedy road again. I can at least name people in your house that you didn't even. Bad King Ares, who started the whole war because he was psychotic. And I can at least say how. Cade, all I can say is this: I've seen the show. I know the material. I'm not losing to a comedy bit again. So, Cain, go with your comedy because if I lose to this, this is ridiculous. You bring a knife to a gunfight.
So, all right, tell us why the Targaryens are the best of Game of Thrones.
Okay, see, Tim, this Mad Aries guy, he's not a part of my house. He's part of the Targaryen house. This is the Targaryen house. We have Thai food. We have ties. We make people look fancy. You kill people, and guess what? You said I don't know about people. There's Bobby, there's Jilly, there's Bonnie, there's Hope, and there's Jilly, and there's Billy number 3, and Tim Smith, and Caleb Coho, and Jim Green, and we have a ton of people at the Targaryens. It's a great time. We have Thai food, ties. You can eat Thai food while making a Thai.
And your winner, Tim Smith.
Hey, you have a panel here, fucker.
I don't give a shit. If you ruled on it, I would have overruled it. There's not a chance in hell I'm letting that slide. Even that name should have been thrown out. So, Tim, you won. You won a Nerdgasm match. You will be facing the winner of Eli McKay versus Jay Burns. So, how do you feel? I feel so bad for Cain right now. I'm actually going to lend him my voodoo email and password so he can watch Game of Thrones because it's actually a pretty good show. And
I mean, it was coming down to the wire, even. I figured Cain at least would have had heard of the subject and had some knowledge, but he tried the same bit that got him his last point, which was a whole joke routine. Tried it again, failed miserably. I mean, if you get Cain on something he has no fucking idea about, you win. And Cain had no fucking idea. Like I said, he brought a knife to a goddamn gunfight in the last round and died a horrible death. So, I mean, it's fun winning this. I don't take it as seriously as I do with the trivia. This is fun for me. I can't wait to see who wins out of Eli and Jay. It'll be entertaining nonetheless. Maybe I'll go to Caleb, the school of Caleb that Cain went to, for just entertaining bits for that match because I'm sure Jay and Eli are better debaters than I am.
I mean, I'll be truthfully honest. You really surprised me in your debate style. You guys filled a lot of dead space. You didn't let it die. You guys actually came at each other, so I really appreciate that. Especially you both being tired today. So I appreciate both of you.
Oh, yes. You don't have to worry about being fired, Cody. I don't fire nobody. I'm not a ruthless dictator like what we've seen from past leaders of past iterations of past fan leagues. I'm not a dictator and horrible person. I'm not going to
be nice.
Yes, trust me. You and Brooklyn are fine. It's good to see Henry. I haven't seen Henry since
the time you talked shit about me on camera.
Okay,
I was going to lose that. Henry. I was going to lose that horribly anyways because I had to say something. So
okay,
but it's good to see Henry Malcolm.
And I'm glad you're not high all the time, Tim. I appreciate that as well. So Cain,
I'm never high. It's drunk. It's called vodka. There's a difference. I'm not Haven Pendergast.
Okay. I hope somebody is
apparently he is drunk because he's name dropping.
Pay you $10 to make sure it's done. Cain, tonight didn't go your way. I even saw in the chat when you put a cry face next to Game of Thrones when Tim picked it because you knew it was coming. But you did goof your way to 8 Below, and I hope next year when it ends the 2019 best of, I hope that. Yes, I was thinking of Snow Dog is entered in there because that was fantastic. But Cain, how do you feel? And I'm definitely going to get you back in this because you are awesome. You may not be able to convince people a lot of the time to join different stuff, but you can actually debate. So how do you feel about Tim moving on against Eli? And how do you think he did today?
Well, first off, he says I brought a knife to a gunfight. He really should have said I brought a tie to a gunfight. That would have been more funny. but he didn't. And yeah, I've never seen Game of Thrones. I straight up told Tim, if we go to the final round, you're winning because I've seen a couple episodes maybe. And it's like I like it, but I just don't have HBO, so therefore I've never seen it. So yeah, I once we went to the final round, I completely knew I was done. I was getting headed, and then I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I was trying to say the Dragon Lady people, and I realized those are not the Targaryens. The Targaryens, I still don't even know who they are. So Tim, who are the people with the dragons?
She's Targaryen.
The Targaryens, Daenerys.
Oh, so
just
Targaryen.
Yeah, Targaryen family.
Which family is the one with the incest?
Lannister.
All of them.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
pretty
I
much.
mean, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, so I said the right people, so I actually feel better that
You,
I know.
you could have just said they had effing dragons. They're the best because they have dragons. But you said, no, we tatas. And here's Caleb Como.
We tatas!
What the crap?
Okay, but here's
I
I didn't realize. I was thinking. I thought I had like Peter Dinklage. I thought that's who I had, and yeah.
Yeah, you came up a
No,
little
You
short
said
on that
we
argument.
Have a dwarf. We have a dwarf, and he's loudmouth and funny. Like, you literally went to a thing that's not existent. So, well, I can't wait to put you versus Coho, because after this airs, you'll both have a loss and a win. So that is the first match I'm setting up post-tournament, is Caleb Coho versus Caleb Coho.
I want to be on the panel to judge that one. That's going to be entertaining as all
Caleb
hell.
wanted to be here so bad for this match, just for these two to show up. Okay, so Malcolm, Henry, how do you think tonight went? Start with Malcolm.
Tonight went as good as it could have been. I mean, there's probably no chance Ken was going to win that final argument, but I was thinking a Snow Dog should actually be a T-shirt. So, but yeah, I mean, Kay put up a good fight, but yeah, Game of Thrones just stabbed him in the back.
I also want to point out Snow Dogs is a Disney movie, so
It is. I just love he must have seen the whole list and then saw dogs and was like, oh, this is Snow Dog, and then clicked on it and saw Paul Walker in a snowsuit and was like, shit, this is not Snow Dogs. This is going to be bad. Henry, how do you think tonight went?
I was kind of hoping that Cain would have said that you brought Needle to a gunfight, because that would have been funny, but then because Cain would have understood the reference. It was a lot of fun, though. Tim, I feel like if you get a little drunker and prepare more, you'll actually be pretty fierce. And Cain, just watch Game of Thrones, or pray to God you never get a Game of Thrones questions again, and pay attention to Cuba Gooding Jr. and Paul Walker difference, because there's a slight difference between the two. So next time we'll see what we can get. It was fun to do.
All right, so we're going to go to plugs now. I'm going to start with the winner. Tim, where can people find you?
You can find me all over here on Multiplex, helping out a lot with Movie Warzone Mondays, TV Tuesdays, Singles and Fandom, Fridays with Fandom Fights, Saturdays if I'm not competing, helping with judging at Nerdgasm. Sunday, Nico has his show where he spouts off above the mouth, and I don't know why we let him. And Thursday, he has another show with Zadius, and of course, Caleb and Jake are having their Oscar show. And support the shirts on TeePublic. We need food for Cain.
Okay, Cain, where can people find you?
You can find me at my house. We'll be watching Game of Thrones and 8 Below. So next time I don't get messed up. But yeah, you can also find me on the internet at K97, the 97 Roman numeral, so it's XEVII. You can also find me cheering on Timothy Smith, because if you're going to lose, you lose to the champion. That's how it works.
Relax.
All right. Malcolm, where can good people find you?
You can find me on Tape View Productions, where I host my own show, Rankum, every Sunday night. It's very listed topic. But you can also find me competing in Full Metal and Multiplex, and you can also find me on Letterboxd, Instagram, and Stardust at Melkor.
Henry, where can the good people find you?
You can find me getting shit talked about me on random places by Tim Smith or people who like to retire every other week. And you can also find me at Confidential Cinema. And yeah. Love you guys.
Are you
guys
trying
will
to
see
battle me for who's going to have the biggest poppet shots of people, Henry?
Yeah.
Because we
like-
both have the
this is-
same history. This is going to be an even fight.
Oh my gosh, this is well, who gives a shit? If he watches it, he'll probably retire. Okay.
If you watch it, what's the
So-
worst you can do? Dislike it? Well, we're fine.
Okay. So where you can
Please
find
don't
me is over
dislike
at
it.
Take Things Productions. I help on 3 shows. I help over at we do watch alongs. Me, Matt Kearns, Robert, and Malcolm are doing watch alongs. Coming back, we're all picking movies. Thursday, Late Night with Take 3, also known as Brooklyn's Wrong for 2 hours. Rankum as the grumpy old man in the corner on Sundays with Malcolm, telling everybody where they're wrong and I'm right. Here over at Multiplex, I'll probably show up more often now because they've let me in the door and I'm too big to kick out. And you can find, and of course, Nerdgasm is, you're watching it, so it will be on Saturdays. We're going for the tournament. And then if you're interested, please comment below these videos and tell us, and we will put you in the regular season to get another tournament started. And I'll probably be on a Ramble League or something or around I think that's what it's called. I don't know what you guys call
Telling
it.
Nico he's wrong.
The after show. Whatever the after show
And
is.
power bombing him through tables in
Yeah,
Chicago.
power bombing through tables. Have a good night. And